It's the leading motor racing series in Japan that's the focus of On the Limit this week, as we look back at the first half of the season for the GT500 class. The opening round of the 2002 Autobacks Championship at the TI Aida circuit in southern Japan presents a rare opportunity. Each season starts with no handicap weights or air restrictor penalties. And in GT500 it's Honda that's able to make the most of the opportunity, dominating in qualifying. Briton Ralph Furman takes pole in the Mobile 1 NSX he shares with Sugo Matsuda. Frenchman Sebastien Philippe is second quickest in another NSX. And Dominic Schwager completes the Honda domination, third. So the 2002 season racing gets started with Hondas leading the way, Furman ahead of Philippe and Schwager. The pace that won Furman pole immediately shows, the 64 car easing away, even from his Honda rivals. In Furman's wake, some big fights are developing already. Frenchman Jeremy Dufour is a man on the move, picking off German Michael Krum for fifth. But out front, Furman has it all his own way. Dufour's charge is closing him up on the second and third placed Hondas. Nissan's Krum starts the pit stop series. Dufour completes his driving stint by getting past Philippe for second place. Finally, Furman's in to hand over to Matsuda. Philippe's in as well, stopping from third. But near disaster here as spilt fuel starts a flash fire. It's quickly extinguished and Richard Lyons gets underway regardless. Dufour, leading after Furman's stop, now comes in. Lyons first looks to have got away with that scary moment in the pits, but now he locks it up and almost spears off. Manabu Arido has the Denso Supra back up to second place. And out front, Sugo Matsuda leads. A little further back, Akira Ida in the Esso Supra is fighting off Daisuke Ito in the NSX, a man pushing very hard to get by. Now Lyons reclaims second place for the Takata team from Arido. Ito makes a big run down the inside of Ida here, locks it up, bumps Ida, they both go off the track. They both also recover, Ito first. Matsuda sails along on a seemingly perfect run at the front for the Mobile 1 car. Behind, things have settled down in the fight for the other major placings. Lyons second, Arido third, then Yuji Tashikawa in the number 1 Toyota Supra. But it's all just about over as Ralph Furman watches his teammate head for the checkered flag. Furman and Matsuda led all but 3 of the 82 laps. So it's been a dominant display by ex-Formula 1 driver Satoru Nakajima's team. This is Matsuda's second GT500 win and Furman's first. So a win today for Furman and Matsuda by 28 seconds from Philippe and Lyons. Dufour and Arido take third, ahead of defending title holders Takeuchi and Tashikawa. So 2 Toyotas behind 2 Hondas. In the GT500 drivers' standings, Furman and Matsuda go into the lead, of course, with 22 points for taking pole, fastest lap of the race and the victory. Philippe and Lyons are 5 points behind. The mile-long straight that dominates the racetrack at the foot of Mount Fuji is expected to give the Toyota Supras the edge in the GT500s at the second round of the Autobacks Championship. They live up to expectations. Juichi Wakasaka claiming pole in the SO Ultraflow Supra he shares with Akira Iida. And defending champion Hironori Takeuchi makes it an all-Toyota front row, second fastest in the AU Tsurumo Supra. Naoki Hattori puts his McLaren third on the grid. Wakasaka in the blue and white Supra leads the field away for the longest race of the Autobacks GT Championship year, 500 kilometres ahead of them. Yuji Tashikawa in the white and orange AU Tsurumo Toyota settles into second, and Hattori's third. Takeshi Tsuchiya is next in the Tom Supra, and Hideki Okada's close behind him in the second McLaren. Back behind the leaders, a three-way fight between round one frontrunners Ralph Furman and Dominic Schwager and Takuya Kurosawa ends in Furman and Schwager spinning off. Up front, Wakasaka's lead is under attack from Tashikawa, and the number 1 Toyota goes through. After a safety car period, the Tsurumo car continues to lead, now with Takeuchi at the wheel. But Akira Iida cannot hold off Eiichi Tajima's McLaren. And another restart after another safety car outing sees the McLaren on attack again. Tajima takes the lead. And now Iida goes by Takeuchi as well. But Takeuchi comes straight back at him, takes the place back. Now a flat tyre gives Tajima a wild moment, and that lets both the Toyotas back in front. There's more bad news for Iida. He's got a stop-go penalty. In an unlucky piece of timing, the race leader pits just before the Mobil 1 Honda goes off, bringing out the safety car one more time. So everyone else gets to pit under the yellow flag, gaining a lot of time on the former race leader. Sure enough, at the restart, Keiichi Tsuchiya's Honda leads, ahead of the Schwager Honda, making a great comeback from its lap 2 spin to the back of the field. And now as Tsuchiya gets a little loose, Schwager's through for the lead. Now an accident prompts another safety car period. And yet another restart, one that shows Tashikawa in the number 1 car close up behind the Hondas in first and second. Now Tashikawa picks off Tsuchiya's Honda for second. And soon after, the number 1 car goes by Schwager to return to the lead. Now, in a bizarre chain of events, a GT300 Chrysler Viper tangles with the number 100 Honda and accelerates the wrong way down the track straight into Wayne Gardner's Toyota. Now Wakasaka goes by Tsuchiya for third place. A few laps later, the SO Toyota has drafted right up to the back of the second place Schwager Honda. And finally he goes by. So Tashikawa takes the checkered flag after a race in which the #1 car had to fight to the front 3 times and saw 5 different cars take a turn at leading. Wakasaka holds off Schwager to the line for a Toyota 1-2. The winning margin for Takeuchi and Tashikawa ends up just 5 seconds, with Wakasaka and Ida second. And Schwager and Daisuke Ito complete a fantastic comeback from the back of the field for third. The win gives Takeuchi and Tashikawa a 10-point lead in the GT500 Championship, with Schwager and Ito now tied for second with round 1 winners Furman and Matsuda. The third round of the Autobacks Japan GT Championship sees the unveiling of a couple of new weapons in the GT500 class. In a surprise development, the Honda NSXs turn up at the picturesque Sugo circuit with air scoops on their roofs. Nissan's big news is not so unexpected, but it is an even bigger deal: the unveiling of its new Skyline and all-new V6 engine. Toyota makes no apparent changes, but is still doing okay, thanks, filling half of the top 10 in qualifying. Honda take the rest, Katsutomo Keniishi and Keiichi Tsuchiya leading the way with pole. The unrelated Takeshi Tsuchiya is second quickest. And Ralph Furman shrugs off 50 kilos of penalty weight to claim third. Round 3 is underway, Keiichi Tsuchiya leading Takeshi Tsuchiya and Furman away from the green light. The 46-year-old Keiichi, runner-up in the title fight last year, begins to ease away, but everyone behind is in a tight line. Things are very close between the top 6, even as far back as 12th. Now though, the Autobacks Honda's in the pits. Tsuchiya's in trouble. And he's still in trouble, even after the pit stop. That means Takeshi Tsuchiya in the Tokyo Tom's Toyota now leads, but only just. Furman's all over him. Now Dufour's charging, and he goes by Furman for second. Toyotas are now 1 and 2. And now Dufour is challenging Tsuchiya for the lead. It's not going to work, not this time anyway. No luck here for Furman. He's stopped, and he's out of the race. A good stop for the Toms team sends Gardner out, still ahead of the threatening Denso Saad Toyota. Hidetoshi Mitsusada, a clear second after the stops, goes off on his own and drops 2 places to Richard Lyons and Shinichi Yamaji. Gardner has a bit of breathing space on Lyons and Yamaji, with Wakasaka 4th. Then there's a line of cars pretty much nose to tail. This is Lyons' view as Yamaji goes by, but goes in too hot, gets crossed up, and Lyons makes contact and spears off. Into the late stages of the race, and Gardner leads. Wakasaka's second, with Yamaji very close behind. But now a disaster for former world motorcycle champ Gardner. He's copped a stop-go penalty. The places are now settled. Wakasaka's just seconds away from the Esso team's first win in a year. Safely clear now of Yamaji, with a similar gap back to Mitsusada, third. Wakasaka finishes this incident-filled race with a 9-second winning margin. Confirming the results, Wakasaka and Iida take the win for Toyota by 9.9 seconds. Hiroki Kato and Mitsusada are next, with Ito and Schwager another 6 seconds back. This win carries Wakasaka and Iida into a narrow lead in the GT500 title fight, ahead of Ito and Schwager. Defending champions Hironori Takeuchi and Yuji Tashikawa drop from first to third. Heat, humidity, history, and Hondas. Those are the critical factors at work going into the race at the Malaysian fourth round of the Autoback Series, its first ever championship round outside Japan. Ralph Furman's able to shrug off the steamy heat and 40 kilos of penalty weight to grab pole in his Mobile 1 NSX. The Tokuhon Tom's entry, luckless so far this year, comes on strongly again with second place on the grid. Then Hondas claim another 4 of the top 7 places. Championship points leaders Juichi Wakasaka and Akira Iida, their Toyota slowed down by 90 kilos of penalty weight, can only qualify 9th. As for Nissan, this is another historic day, the last ever race outing for the old Skyline GTRs. So history in the making as Furman leads the field to the start line here at the Sepang Formula One circuit. Takeshi Tsuchiya slots into second in the Tom's Toyota, and Keiichi Tsuchiya's third in his Autobacks Honda. Contact between the Eric Komas Nissan triggers trouble for Richard Lyons and Hiroki Kato in the Hondas, and Takuya Kurosawa in the Zent Supra. The first 3 are now getting away from the rest, led by Komas. A car stopped trackside brings out a safety car, bunching up the field. On the restart, Furman goes clear again, no problem. But Komas and Keiichi Tsuchiya tangle. The Honda driver turned around and clipped. A large part of the GT500 field lines up behind the Komas Nissan that's in 4th, with Katsuyoshi Hoshino next and Takeuchi 6th. Race leader Furman is now in the pits. A problem here for the FK Massimo Toyota. Oh, and now a flash fire as well. That'll cost them their 6th place. After all the stops, it's back to the way things were. Sugio Matsuda in the lead. Now second place Wayne Gardner has to take avoiding action as he tries to lap one of the other Toyotas, and he's spun. Now he fires up, has to go cross country to get clear. And he loses second place to Masami Kageyama in the Nissan. Now Gardner has to fight his way back past Kageyama to reclaim second. Kageyama's now embroiled in a battle for third, fighting off Paolo Montin. Montin darts to one side, then the other, and he hits the back of the skyline, sending Kageyama careering off. The Supra seems okay, but the Nissan's far from it. And as Matsuda sails on unaffected by all this drama, Kageyama has to call it quits. Nissan's chances now rest on Michael Krim's shoulders, fourth. But Sugio Matsuda is heading for victory in the Mobil 1 Honda NSX for the second time this season. Thurman's a very happy man. Gardner holds on to finally claim a podium this year. And the Tom's Toyota team gets 2 in the first 3 with Montaigne third. Matsuda shows his delight as the team celebrates back in pit lane. A win then by 18 seconds for Furman and Matsuda, ahead of Gardner and Tsuchiya. Kurosawa and Montaigne are third. Nissan's denied a dream end to its old Skyline's career, but does finish a respectable fourth. Furman and Matsuda go back into the series points lead at the halfway point in the GT500 season. There's a close contest behind though between the next 4 teams, led by Wakasaka and Ida.